Hello everyone, this is Unravled, or Rap for short, and this is going to be an update video of a video I released before Legends Arceus came out, I don't remember exactly when, of all the locations of Hisui on the Sinnoh region map. And while some of those were correct, some of those locations I'd mentioned, some of them were very incorrect, so we're going to be covering those in this video, starting with Jubilife Village. Right now we are, like, in the main area. But if we walk over to this bridge here, and we read what the bridge has to say, we will see that this bridge actually reads Kanala Bridge. And if we cross the bridge up in the upper left-hand corner, we'll see that we are now in Kanala Avenue, which if we shorten Avenue to Ave, and if we add those two words together, we would get Kanalav City, which is really interesting. And something else that I noticed that is interesting is that these aren't just random names. If we come up to the second floor of the Galactic Headquarters, Galaxy Team Headquarters, and we look at this woman here, we can see that her name is actually Kanala. So she named the bridge, and the avenue is named after her. Let's move on to the next thing in Jubilife Village. If we cross the bridge again and heading back towards the Galaxy Team Headquarters, we'll see in the top left that the road name is called the Florio Main Street, which could be a reference to Floraroma Town, which would be an okay reference because Floraroma Town is actually normally quite close to Jubilife Village. Now, there is one thing that I would like to point out quickly. This isn't just a random name. There's another NPC named Floreo. Unfortunately, I could not find Floreo anywhere in the city. However, there is a reference to him that I have in my game currently. If we go to the requests, the Taste of Home. So mission number 48, we can see it's requested by Floreo. We can see that this street is indeed named after him. And he's a member of the construction corps, so it would make sense that this is named after him. And this will lead us into our next portion of the video in the Obsidian Fieldlands. So the first place that we are going to go to is the Floreo Gardens, which is just over here on the map. Now, there is a request, a mission here, if you've played Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, where you will actually see reference to something that happened in the other game. We can see that I have already done that request, and we have a field of flowers. Before this was a field of flowers and I caught Shaman, this was actually a field of dead flowers, and in that mission request, we can see this place bloom. I'm assuming that this place is called the Floreo Gardens because maybe that construction corps member found this while he was out looking for wood to build Jubilife Village, as this is pretty close by to the exit where we would be heading back to Jubilife Village. The next place of note on this map, of course, is Lake Verity, which is right here, and below that we have the Sandgem Flats, as well as Romanus Island. So we can see that these locations are all where they would normally be, but for some reason in this game, Floraroma Town is south of Jubilife Village, not north. If we zoom back out of our map one more time, we can see that, according to this, Floraroma Town, where the garden is, Floreo Gardens, is right here. It's right above, okay, maybe not right there. Maybe it's like right here, right? Let's zoom in one more time and check. So right here we have Lake Verity, and here is this big island. We can see that Floreo Gardens is here, which would put it like right here, which means it is currently south of Kanalav Village and Jubilife Village, which is a little crazy to me because in the normal games, Floreo Village, or Floraroma Town would be up here somewhere. So either it doesn't exist in the locations of this game, there's no location here for us to travel to, or they have moved the location south, which is very interesting. Here we are at our next location. Right here, if we come inside here, we can find out that this is the Oreboro Tunnel, which would eventually become Oreboro Town. We can see it is here on the map. Let me get rid of my little flag real quick. It doesn't need to be there anymore. So here's Oreboro Town, which I think is okay, because it kind of lines up a little bit with Jubilife Village. It being here is pretty much the same location it would be at on the normal map. Now, there is another location here that we should probably look at. Currently, we are near the Heartwood, or the Grand Cheer Arena. I believe Heartwood could be a reference to Heart Home. I'm not sure though. This is the only location in the game that has the name Hardwood that I have seen or noticed while I've been playing. However, we're going to be making our way over here to this little pin that we have. I think this is important to note. Over here, we can find a rock in the middle of a bunch of trees. And this rock is the mossy rock that we can use to evolve Eevee into Glaceon. If we look, it says it's covered with moss. Touching it feels good somehow. Now, here's my problem with this rock being here. If we go ahead and look back at our map, we can see that we are on the opposite side of Romanus Island, and if we zoom out all the way, that would put it right here is where this mossy rock is. Now, normally in the Sinnoh region games, the mossy rock can be found in Eterna Forest. I'm not saying this location is Eterna Forest, but normally the mossy rock would be up in this location near, close or not, or somewhat behind the mountain. But this is the only place we can find the mossy rock here. Now, there could be a different mossy rock in the future of the Sinnoh games, but I just think it's interesting to point out that it is indeed here. Here we are in the Crimson Mirelands, and in this location there are lots of wheat fields, and this is the first area you can gain the hardy wheat item. But as well, right here on the map, we can find the Silesian ruins, which would mean that around this location here is Silesian Town. Now, I will also like to point out that the Diamond Settlement is also over here, which in my previous video, I had believed that it was quite possibly Celestic Town. I now believe that this Diamond Settlement eventually becomes the Silesian Town over on this side of the mountains. Anyways, we can also see Lake Valor over here, which would mean somewhere down here in this bog area, probably right over here where there's not as much marsh, would become Pastoria City. I don't believe there's any other reference to Pastoria City here, but we do see this bog and lots of wetlands here that we do see making our way up to Hearthome City. However, we don't see a Hearthome City here. It could be possible Hearthome City gets built over here somewhere, but there's no reference to it anywhere on the map that I've seen. It could be here. I don't really know. There's not really a lot of clear positioning anywhere. So here we are in the Cobalt Coastlands. Now, there are a few locations here that are pretty easy to place on our Sinnoh region map. If we look at our map here and we come up a little bit north, we can see the Spring Path. Now, this is where normally you would catch Giratina in Diamond and Pearl. And we can also see here on this big mountainous region, it is called the Veilstone Cape, so we can easily place a Veilstone City right there. Now, if we come down a little bit further south, we can see this other hand thing, which would eventually line up with easily becoming Veilstone City. I believe that this area eventually gets eroded away, and that's why we have lots of little islands. There's a little mountain area here that Sunnysore City could eventually be built on. Now, I do want to point out one more thing. I had mentioned in the previous video that I believed that this volcano was Stark Mountain. However, if we zoom out of our map a little bit, we can see that this is way too far south for Stark Mountain. Stark Mountain would be somewhere up here in the cloud and beyond even this area here. So I believe that this area here eventually connects to the Veilstone Cape somehow and becomes the Victory Road, which would be fitting. Okay, here we are in the Coronet Highlands. Now, I just want to point out that there are lots of ruins in this area, but the most important thing that we can find here, first of all, let's go ahead and jump off. We took a little bit of damage, that's fine though. Right here, we can find the Wayward Cave, which is underneath the cycling road. So if we click enter, we will enter into Wayward Cave. Anyways, our next location that we can pretty easily figure out, if we look up here, we can see a place called the Celestica Ruins and the Celestic Trail. I believe that these two are a direct reference to Celestic Town. Now, we also need to talk about these Sacred Plazas. So here we are at the Sacred Plaza, and I wanted to point this area out real quick because there are 3 broken statues here. First one we can see is a statue of Giratina's legs. So it's got 6 legs, pretty easy to notice. And then over here, let's go ahead and sneak by this Alpha Luxray real quick. If we come over this way, we can see a statue of both Dialga and Palkia. Now, the reason why I'm pointing this out is this could be a reference to the statue in Diamond of Pearl, where the Palkia statue and the Dialga statue are put together. However, why would those two statues be formed together if everybody in this game has in fact seen the true forms of Dialga and Palkia? So this is another reason why I believe that this game is set in a different universe than Diamond and Pearl, mainly because a lot of the things don't exactly line up. But anyways, there's not really much else that we can see over here that could directly correlate with something in those games, Diamond and Pearl for instance. However, we do have this Temple of Sinnoh at the very top. And in one of the last fights of this game, there is a reference to the Sinnoh Ruins floor. I'm not going to show that on screen because I believe it is a major spoiler. However, when you get there, I believe that you'll see what I mean by that major spoiler. Anyways, let's go ahead and head to the last area of this game. Here we are in the Alabaster Icelands. Now, we're just going to be looking at the map here. Over here we have the avalanche slopes where there's a lot of trees. However, there is no reference anywhere that I could see to Eterna Forest. There's no building here that we could see. There is an NPC named, I think her name was... Okay, I forget her name. However, she is Cheryl's ancestor. I'll put a picture of her and Cheryl on screen. So it could be a reference to the fact that Eterna Forest could be here since she shows up here. But people can move over time. Anyways, we've got Lake Acuity up here. We have the Snow Point Temple at the very top. And down here we've got the Pearl Settlement, which I rightly believed would eventually become the Snow Point City. So, other than that, I would say that it's pretty obvious that everything I said about this area, minus Flora Roma Town being here and Eterna Forest being here, that I believe everything I mentioned about this location was correct. However, some of the placements are a little weird, but all in all, I still don't know where Hearthome City is. I would say that the closest location would be the Heartwood, which would put Hearthome right here, which I believe would make a little bit of sense. However, it could also be over here on this location. In fact, give me a minute and I will make a map with all the locations of where I believe they're supposed to be. So here we are in a map of a screenshot that I took. I went ahead and put yellow stars over all the locations that I had mentioned in the video. One to point out right away, I think I need to. Went ahead and put Hearthome right here because it's on the other side of the mountain, which would mean Hearthome on my current map would be in the Crimson Mirelands area, back where I mentioned a little bit earlier. I also realized that I didn't mention Twinleaf Town in my video. However, if we just go ahead and fade back to the other one, and we were to zoom in here, Twinleaf Town would probably be somewhere near Sanjum Town. It could be a little bit off to the side here. It could be down lower. Really, honestly, doesn't matter. So if we were to go ahead and head back to my image here, we can just go ahead and put another little star here in the corner somewhere, because that's where Twinleaf Town would be. I'm going to be putting these on the HD version of the map, just because it's a little bit bigger. I can make the letters look nicer, and we don't have to worry about relying on stars. Here is my completed HD map with all of the Sinnoh locations on the Hisui Region map, minus Eterna Forest, because I have no idea where Eterna Forest could go, especially because Flora Roma Town is in the wrong location right now, compared to it would normally be on the Sinnoh Region map. Just for a reference, we will go ahead and zoom in and look at some of these locations. So first we have the Snow Point Temple, Acuity Lakefront, and Snow Point City. That did not change from my last video. Those locations were pretty spot on, if I do say so myself. If we check my other map from the other video, we can see here, Eterna City, Eterna Forest, Flora Roma Town, and Iron Island I had put right here. However, in the new map, I am leaving this location blank because there is no reference to any of these in that location. So anyways, we come a little bit further down and we get to the most populated location on my map now. Obsidian Fieldlands is filled with a lot of things. So Romanus Island is now here. Sanjum Town and Twinleaf Town are now like right in this location here. Verity Lakefront didn't change. Jubilife City didn't change. Candlelight City didn't change. Orbur City has moved down. Let's go ahead and look at my other map. Let's zoom out a little bit. You can see here that I had normally had Orbur City a little bit further north. In the new map, I have moved it a little further south, about lined up right here with this We can see that Romanus Island, I had it actually listed as Romanus Park, which has now been corrected to Romanus Island. So this area has been changed. I believe Sandrum Town was here before, which it is now currently where it is supposed to go with Twin Leaf Town. And Floraroma Town is here, which it was not there on my last map. And then if we come a little bit further over here, we can see that I put Hearthome City here, with right underneath Silesian Town. And I believe I forgot to put down Celestic Town. Well, that was silly of me. Celestic Town will go like right here. Let's fix that real quick. Alright, Celestic Town has been updated. I just put it here because it's kind of hard to know exactly where things are supposed to go on the cave. We now know that this location here is the Wayward Cave, I'm pretty certain of. And then this, I'm guessing, is the door path. Anyways, I'm just going to leave Celestic Town there. Pastoria City hasn't changed. Silesian Town hasn't changed. Valor Lakefront has not changed from my last map. We can compare here with my other one. Let's go ahead and zoom on over this way. I'm not going to put down the Silesian Ruins. That's a little bit too much work for right now. Sunny Shore City has not changed location. Veilstone City has not changed location. Victory Road has been moved up from this little side of this area here, and it has been replaced with the Stark Mountain. I didn't put Flower Paradise here because we now know that these islands aren't actually in the game. Anyways, if we look back at our in-game map here, let's go ahead and wake up our game real quick. If we zoom back out, there are some areas that we currently can't explore, and I didn't mention the Ancient Retreat because there's not really a big enough map there for anything else. But I believe that the battle zone is up in this location. We don't know what's underneath this cloud. Underneath this cloud over here could definitely be the Iron Island. It could be a DLC, if there's a DLC that they decide to release for this game. If there is, I guess we'll find out soon-ish. And then over here, there's also clouds here that we can't see past. So it's just interesting. I'm pointing these out because on the map when we first started the game, it was completely covered in clouds. Now it is not. But anyways, if we go ahead and head back to my map, this is my completed map of... Let's go ahead and change this view so that it's centered again. Center this, will fit an image. So this is my current map and final map for Hisui Region, Sinnoh locations on the Hisui Region map. Anyways, like I said before, this is all of them except for Eterna Forest because honestly, there's no real good place for them. And if there was, I would probably put it right down here by where this mossy rock is, but we all know that that's not the best place for it. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.